fetch the dogs, my dad would say, we're off to have some fun. As sure as this night turns to day, we'll see old Brock run. When I was just a boy, it seemed such a good idea to me, 'cause the badgers were the farmer's curse that gave the cows TB. We were all so brave back then, I do remember well, my dad and his mates from the pub with hunting tales to tell. Old hunting stories handed down from father unto son. I loved them all, I recall them, every single one. If I could just relive those days, maybe I could change my ways. If I could just relive those days again. If I could just relive those days again. With spades and lanterns we would walk for hours and for miles. They'd fill the woodland with their talk as the night air froze my smile. When the dogs picked up the scent, not one man made a sound. For somewhere near, I've sung it for a long time. Somewhere near, they all knew old Badger'd gone to ground. We'll edit that bit out later on.
Right.
But if I could just relive those days, maybe I could change my ways. If I could just relive those days again. If I could just relive those days again. When at last we found a set of dogs yapping all about, the men would all begin to bet how many they'd flush out. With all but one door sealed, the young dogs went in one by one, while the older hounds stood wisely back to catch Brock on the run. And if I could just relive those days, maybe I could change my ways. If I could just relive those days again. If I could just relive those days again. Pretty soon old Badger came with a rush into the night. He very briefly stood before us, blinded by our light. But he knew no more, for the dogs were on him, tearing out his breath. And for one small boy, mixed with the joy, was the awful smell of death. Well, if I could just relive those days, maybe I could change my ways. If I could just relive those days again. Yes, if I could just relive those days, I could maybe change my ways. If I could just relive those days.